Excuse me, can you tell us the way back to the road? That way. Okay, thanks.
He can crack himself up and keep himself entertained all day long. We're driving the Bajada Loop Scenic Drive. It's only 5 miles and you can do it in a van. That didn't work out.
Welcome to Saguaro National Park, just outside of Tucson. It's home to the giant saguaro cactus here in Arizona. They are quite amazing to see up front in person, but as you drive into Tucson, they just appear, and all of a sudden there's just hundreds of them over the hills. There's 2 different districts, the west and the east. The west is the newer growth of the cactus. That's where we are right now. We're on Bajada Drive. Then there's the west district. The West District is the older growth with the really, really big saguaros. Some of them over 40 feet tall. We're gonna finish this loop and then head on over to the East District to see the really big ones. We've stopped at Signal Hill. This is where the petroglyphs are. Petroglyphs are like cave drawings. Some are upwards of 1,500 years old. The sign said to beware of prickly plants, rattlesnakes, and Gia monsters. Sounds like a Pokemon? We're gonna keep our eyes peeled. The diversity of the plants here is just really amazing. You wouldn't expect it in a desert environment, but although these just look like suns and other designs carved into rocks, you really have to put into context the importance and just plain amazing that these things are. They're upwards of 1,500 years old. There is nothing around here, or really anywhere, that's not carved into rock that is older than these simple petroglyphs. Even the reason why these were carved is completely lost to time. These carvings are credited to the Hohokam people, and Hohokam means the people who are gone. That's all we know about them, other than some of their farming and irrigation practices that were left behind. That's it. We're at the East District. This is where the old growth saguaros are. I also want to point out it's 10:45 and it's like 100 degrees in October. I can't imagine coming here in the summer.
This plant is a Santa Rita prickly pear. I think it's my favorite that I've seen, even more than the saguaros. The reason that it has that color, supposedly when it's stressed due to drought or excessive cold, that's when the color really pops. But for the most part, you'll see them green and much larger.
Break now!
I'm already not gonna like it. I'm not. Oh my goodness. Do you see that? Woo! Stop! We're on the lookout for the tallest saguaro. We took the very first pull out, and I think I can see one like 100 yards out. Might be the biggest one we've seen, but I'm not gonna know until we get up close.
Normally, you're supposed to stay on the paths to stop erosion, but here they tell you to just park and just kind of wander As long as obviously you don't destroy any of the wildlife. I don't see how you could, because they're covered in thorns. Trying to stay as far away from them as possible.
It's very rigid. There's like no flexibility at all.
You already know that the tallest ones get to 45 feet tall. However, the tallest one recorded was 78 feet, and it was only a one stem, no arms. At full weight when it rains, these things are several tons full of water. Crazy! Although the big massive ones are impressive, this one is still at least 50 years old. It takes 70 years for them to grow 6 feet. It takes 8 years for them to grow 1.5 inches. This saguaro is probably around 95 to 100 years old, and I know that because it's finally starting to produce an arm. It takes 95 to 100 years for them to produce one little arm.
So hot. Wow.
Right. Look at that one. Is that one big one? If it is, we're gonna go look at it. We were on our way out, but we saw a giant one with lots of arms, and we just had to stop and go and look at it. Look at this monster. One more fact for the road. The root system is very shallow. The main root goes down a couple of feet, but the rest of them are only a couple of inches underneath the ground. They spread out as much as 30 meters. They can collect 200 gallons of water during rainfall, and they need to in order to survive all the droughts out here in the desert. Good. We just drove 4.5 hours from Saguaro National Park to just outside of White Sands National Park. We're on BLM land. I'd say it's a pretty good spot. For dinner, we have some flank steak, some peppers, and an onion. We're gonna have some fajitas. Dinner's ready.
The city lights are twinkling.